The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
Welcome back to UAB's Director's Chair. He is the athletic director for your UAB Blazers. Mark Ingram joins us every single week right here. I get a lot of emails, info@tonykurreradio.net, saying that people love the show because we talk to an athletic director. I don't know why more people don't talk to athletic directors, because you know more about everything than any coach. I mean, if I get coach, and listen, I love having Coach Kennedy on. We'll have Alex on certainly during football season, and we talk X and O's. But if I really want to know what's going on in college sports, you are the man, and you answer a lot of questions. We have a lot of stuff to get into. First of all, how are you? Everything good?
Yeah, I'm excellent. Thank you.
Great.
How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. We're going to be talking about the Super Bowl. I want to get your picks on that. Got to get your pick on Super Bowl 60 coming up on Monday. We have this thing called an eighth year senior. I don't know if I've ever heard of an eighth year senior.
We had some.
We'll talk about that in a second. Also, we have a gold out later on tonight. I do want to start, though. I love just seeing your facial expressions when I bring this stuff up. It's so good.
Well, we had it.
Yeah.
You know, I say that, you know, I scratch my chin or whatever, but, you know, when we reinstated football,
well, that was a little different story. I mean, you were out.
It was, but we worked with the NCAA and we got a really unique waiver, which was, if you remember, we did not play games in 2015 or 16. Mm-hmm. And so we got a waiver that those 2 years would not count against anyone's eligibility.
If they stayed, yeah.
So if you had played somewhere else or here, wherever you had played prior to that, or if you showed up in 15 or 16, 15 and 16 did not count. And so I remember our quarterback, Tyler Johnston, mm-hmm. is a good example. He came here in 2015. So 15 didn't count, 16 didn't count. He redshirted in 17. Okay, then he played 18, 19, 20, which is the COVID year.
Oh, and then the COVID thing hit, yeah.
And 21. But he got a COVID year back, and he went to Towson and played at Towson for it was his eighth year of college.
And ladies and gentlemen,
it wasn't 8 years playing, but it was 8 years of college, and he was an eighth year senior when he played at Towson. And
ladies and gentlemen, this is before players were paid. I mean, that's how much this kid loved college sports. We'll talk about that in a second. I got to bring this up just because it's Florida State. I think it's funny. FSU just closed their bills and their taxes from last year. They closed the fiscal year 2025 with a $437 million athletics-related debt. According to its latest financial disclosures in the NCAA, a $200 million increase from the prior fiscal cycle and a higher total than any public FBS program reported in the final year of 24. The figure likely places Seminoles along the list of most heavily leveraged athletic departments in the country. Overall, Florida State reported $617 million in institutional debt for the year of 25, with athletics accounting for 71% of that total. For comparison, the school's athletic-related debt stood at $17 million at the end of the football year 2020, an increase of 2,465% over the next 5 years. First of all, explain to me how everyone at the top still has a job there. Second, let's start small here. Is institutional debt, what is it normally? What percentage do you like to stay in there? FSU's athletic debt is 71% of its institutional debt for Florida State University. Is that where it usually is? What's like an SEC school or a UAB? What's the percentages? Or what would you like to stay within?
There's a lot there. I mean, you'd like to have as little debt as possible,
sure.
But just like you would in your own house. Well, one, they have a fantastic athletic director, Michael Alford, who played baseball at UAB. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a great guy and does a great job there. And they are renovating their football stadium. So the reason they have this is that they're doing like a $500 million renovation to the stadium. So that's what they're doing. And that's one of the things that in the conversation around the House settlement and paying players that lawyers and judges and people on the outside look at, and they read it like you just did, and they go, oh my gosh, there's all this money or whatever. And you just don't realize, hey man, we're trying to do this for our fans who come and watch these kids play and continue to engage them so that they want to come and make our stadium more modern. Or I don't know all the things that they're doing, but I could guess and be pretty close to right. Club seating and suites and, different styles of seating around the stadium to engage fans to make them want to continue to be there rather than stay at home and watch it on television. And so the report that is being read is from the NCAA report, which we all fill out, but it should not be considered like an accounting ledger. It's not. Okay. It's very unique. It's not something you can just ever go apples to apples on with another school unless you really drill down and you know what you're looking for. For example, we have to report how much money we raised, but your fundraising numbers are not really how much you raised. It's how much did you raise and spend. Mm-hmm. So that's not necessarily like I don't remember the number it had for us. It's like $3.5 million, but we raised like 10. Yeah. Because we raised a bunch of money for the arena that we haven't spent yet. Yeah. So it's just interesting how that is. So it's really just cash in the door and then cash out the door, which is not really fundraising. Another thing, Tony, that they'll do is you break it out by sport. What are your sport budgets? So let's just use football as an example. Well, Florida State may put this football stadium in their football budget because it's a football project. Mm-hmm. Whereas UAB, when we do Bartow Arena, we may not put Bartow in the basketball budget. We may have it in like a general administrative section of the report. Mm-hmm. Well, so if I was in the ACC and I'm trying to compare my football budget to Florida State, and Florida State's got this $500 million line item for, it would appear as if at a glance, oh my gosh, they're spending $500 million more than us.
It's definitely
no, they're not. No,
it's definitely not a good look. I will say this, I look a little deeper and obviously I'm reading it that way on purpose. I think it's funny just because you keep telling me the money is not real. It's almost like COVID money. It's going to blow up eventually. And if someone's $500 million in the till and it's all going to athleticism, then there's something doesn't seem right there. Athletic spending in FSU surged 22.6% from the year 24 to 25, reaching $208 million, a period that coincided, of course, with the university suing the ACC in hopes of joining a more lucrative league. Roughly 16% of its expenditures were covered by campus subsidies. I bring this up only because last week, on Thursday, it was a week ago today, I'm up at Fox 6, and there's a camera on this helicopter that is flying into the Birmingham area. And this helicopter, really nice helicopter, is landing on Ramsey's high school football field. I didn't even know Ramsey had a football field. And it's landing on this football field on Ramsey, and out comes out Coach Norvell. Yeah. And everyone was like, why the hell is the FSU coach taking a private or a helicopter, first of all, to Ramsey? Yeah. And I'm sure it was because, he had to tell somebody, hey, listen, I'm flying in. It's not like, you don't just have a camera, TV camera. They had to have cameras up. So it was for effect, and it was impressive. And he looked out and did the whole presidential wave and the whole, it also makes me. When Lane Kiffin and I worked together at Tennessee, he did that in the Atlanta area. Yeah. And it was totally for effect. I don't disagree that it was a smart move because of traffic, but when he would want to hit a couple of high school games or high schools in the same day, depending on the time of the day, we would get him a helicopter and he'd fly over and land on their practice field or something. Of course, all the kids are out. Oh my gosh, who are they coming to see? They're coming to see Tony Kurre. Of course they're coming to see. Oh, look at what they did. They flew in to see. It's just it's a wow effect thing. It's impressive. There's, and if you're 18 years old, you're going to be pretty impressed by that. We watched it. It does make me understand a little bit more vividly why that Norvell, after coming off a really good year and then having a horrible year, did not lose his job, because they probably didn't want to have to add a buyout. to that line item that they were talking about because they decided. I thought it was weird. I thought for sure he was fired, and the only reason I thought for sure is because halfway through the season, the AD came out and said, "We'll make a decision at the end of the year." You just don't see that happen. Have you ever said that about a coach in the middle of the year, saying at the end of the year we'll let you know what we're going to do with this guy? I mean, he seems so lame duck. Yeah,
yeah.
You may know that, but you don't say that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, for sure. You say, hey, we're not making those decisions in the middle of the year unless you're certain of unless you're certain.
Yeah.
And I think my take on Mike Norvell is he's a really good football coach. Mm-hmm. And remember, he went undefeated a couple of years ago for a reason. And
his quarterback.
But it is easy. Well, it wasn't just the quarterback.
Well, a lot of it was his quarterback because once his quarterback was gone,
But the point is, if you He brings in DJ Uyunglele, who didn't work out, but DJ's got a lot of skills. And I mean, remember the guy was a really good quarterback at Clemson for a while, and then I don't know what happened, but then all of a sudden he wasn't. Yep. And he goes out to Oregon State, and he had a good year at Oregon State. And sometimes, man, I've used this before on this show, and I'll do it again. As Nick Saban said, you can pay whoever you want to pay, but if you don't pay the right guys and they don't fit together right, it ain't gonna matter. And so, I think Mike Norvell is a really good football coach. My guess is, and I've never had this conversation with Mike Alford, but he probably thinks that too.
Yeah.
And you just gotta look at, it's like a science experiment, and there's 10 different variables that can make that experiment work or not. And if it doesn't work, you can just scrap the whole thing, which is what the grand public wants to do. That's the cancel culture mentality. Mm-hmm. Just throw it all away, fire everybody, or you can go, okay, wait a minute. We think we're close here. We got a lot of good things. Let's isolate the second thing and the seventh and the ninth thing. And maybe these three things are what aren't working. Let's take one of those out and replace it and see what works there. And did that work? And that's how an experiment works. And that's where we are, man. When you are rotating 50 new players a year, and we basically all are, it's just unpredictable. What are you going to be next year? And then trying to get those new guys to fit in with the old guys, and everybody come together and love each other and want to play for each other and want to play for your school. And because we're just another stop on the road. Yeah. When you got guys that are 3 to 5 different schools in their career, whether it's UAB or Florida State, you can just be another stop on the road for them.
Well, you're certainly seeing a lot more of that now.
You're seeing a lot more of that. But I'll tell you, Tony, listen, man, when I was Andy Kennedy and I have had this conversation, because he has said this in his press conference. I did not grow up watching Tennessee football. I had never seen a Tennessee football game in my life. We didn't have cable forever, before ESPN or any of those things. And I lived in Virginia. I went to high school in Virginia. We got Virginia and Virginia Tech. That's what we got. Mm-hmm. That the local news coverage was about that. And you get some ACC information because of where we were, on the old belt, which was when Maryland was still in the league. Virginia Tech wasn't in the ACC. North Carolina Duke. That's what you got news coverage wise. So I go to school there. It took me about a year and a half, maybe 2. But by that point, Knoxville and the University of Tennessee, that became part of me.
Sure.
And I wanted to fight for that place. Mm-hmm. I was ready to get in the game and go fight your ass for that place. We just don't really have that as much anymore because of the transient nature of that. And I'm not saying kids aren't trying. Yeah. There's just an extra half a notch up.
Yeah.
Right. When you say take it to another level, that passion is like another half a level up. And that half can be the difference between us beating Memphis tonight or, those really tough games, you being the winner.
Wow. UAB Director's Chair, you do have Memphis later on tonight. A great rivalry game. UAB 2-8. The last 10 visits against Memphis. And normally you'd say, great, well, we have them at home tonight. We're going to have a gold out tonight. Get down there and support your UAB Blazers. It will be on television. We need all the help we can get down there because you've won 5 straight games on the road for only the second time in your history. But for some reason at Bartow, they're having a tough time. We'll get to that in a second. The NCAA officially denying the medical waiver for Trinidad Chambliss. This kid picked it up halfway through the season. Of course, and the starting QB for Ole Miss went down. Wednesday night, setting up a showdown in court. Here we go again in Mississippi courtroom. Over the past 2 months, the Ole Miss quarterback has been involved in a waiver process with the NCAA dates back to his time at Ferris State, where Shambles played before playing this past season the Rebels. After initial denial of waiver on January 9th, centered around his health during the 2022 season that Shambles said prevented him from playing. The Ole Miss Athletic Department submitted what they deemed was sufficient medical information to appeal with the NCAA's board to consider. Now, the waiver has been officially denied for a second time. Both sides will meet inside a Pittsboro, Mississippi courthouse next week.
How do you think that'll go?
Well, it's the Joey Aguilar thing too.
What was his injury?
It does not say, but again, it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was 4 years ago, and I don't know what the injury is, but you can't. And I want to be clear. I don't know enough about the situation, so. But you can't have a head cold and go, look, man, this guy was, he had the sniffles for 2 weeks. And like that's not grounds for couldn't play all season. An ACL tear, that kind of thing, that's different. Maybe that's what he had. I have no idea. This is the shame of the situation that we're in, and you mentioned
it's a $2 million. It's a $2 million decision by this judge. I mean, he's making $2 million if he gets a chance to get. I mean, and he, obviously,
the player.
The player's going to make two. Yeah, he's going to make $2 million.
That's not the NCAA or Ole Miss's responsibility.
You're right.
To make sure that kid gets that money. That's not our responsibility. We used to have a responsibility to educate people. And now we don't do that.
Well, and that takes me.
It's like the Aguilar situation in Tennessee. I think it's shameful to us that we complain on the one hand that the NCAA is not doing enough, and then we are the problem because we're filing lawsuits. And these judges who are sympathetic because they're graduates or donors or fans, they go, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna give you a temporary injunction or whatever is needed," and say that the NCAA can't enforce their rules in our state. Well.
Yeah, I want to know where all these people.
I've found the problem. We are him.
Yeah, all these people that for years, players deserve to get paid. They need to get paid. They need to get paid. They need to get paid. They don't have pizza money. Poor kids don't even have gas money. And now we got kids coming back want to come back for their 8th year of eligibility. Right. And Joey Aguilar with Tennessee because he's also making $2 million a year. I get it. I'm not saying I wouldn't do the same exact thing.
Go to the draft, man.
But he's 25 years old. Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, his draft stock is not as high as he'd like to have it because he's not going to be going. So I just think it's kind of crazy. Let's talk about the gold out later on tonight. I mentioned that 2-10 number. What is different? What is UAB doing? I did see, and I dug into some numbers. You can go to UABsports.com and get the same stuff I'm reading. 9.1 turnovers a ball game, which is fantastic. Anything you get under 10 is fantastic. That ranks, I think 18th in the country, number 1 in AAC. So they're doing really well there. But what number, you tell me, what number is so different at home that it's not on the road? Is it the turnovers? Is it the time? Is it what is it? Why are they losing at home and not losing on the road?
Well,
is there a number?
Coach Kennedy talks about this is a stat that's not kept in the stat line, but that he keeps, and I'm sure probably every coach keeps, and it's open looks.
Yeah, you mentioned that last time we did the show. Yeah.
Did I? Okay, so this is
71%. Yeah, 71% of the open looks are missing. Yeah.
Yeah, we run a play, and this is designed for Tony to be open. We kick you the ball. You are open. You shoot, and you either make it or you miss it. Well, Andy said that he has never had a team under 50% on their open looks, and we were at that time in like the 29% range. Mm-hmm. And he said, so, that by itself has been our issue, which I have to assume is has been better on the road than it has been at home. And it's just odd. I just think it's just a bizarre coincidence. I don't necessarily think that it's anything about what he's doing or they're doing, or I just think it's just an odd circumstance. And, I joked with him the other day. They came back and after the North Texas win. I said, hey, listen, I've put a call into the American Conference and petition that we finish the rest of the season out on the road, if that's what it takes. He's like, and he goes, have we got the budget for that? I said, we will find the budget for that. That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
I will drive you myself to the.
It's crazy. It hasn't happened since 81, 82 season when UAB won 5 straight road games on the road, which, I mean, that's, if you had told me that UAB was going to have a run like that, prior to the season starting, and I'm thinking as well as they play at home. By the way, UAB is favored tonight. I was trying to find the line by 1.5, over under 153.5. Maybe.
Well, our records are real similar. You know, Memphis had an incredibly tough non-conference schedule, but our conference schedule and where we are is very similar. It should be a real, what we always want, a real, knockout 12-round match.
Yeah, I do think this sets up for a nice run and gun kind of game. I'd like to see like an 80-75 kind of game later on tonight. The over-under is 153.5. I'd take the over if I were you. I'm just saying. I'd go down there. My daughter has choir practice tonight, of all nights to have choir practice. I'm like, Brad sent me the email on the Twitter account, the X thing, and I was like, dude, I cannot believe I'm going to miss that game tonight. But, I could slide in. And so, are you sure you're practicing 2.5 hours long? Because if it's 2.5 hours long, I could run down to UAB, come back, and she would never know. But I'm not going to do that. We'll have a gold out tonight. What other special things are happening tonight down at Bartow? What can we expect as true fans of UAB? Because we want to pack the place out tonight.
Yeah, well, we'll have the Battle for the Bones trophy for all the fans that haven't had a photo with the trophy. It'll be there, so that'll be a lot of fun.
What does that actually weigh? Like 14? It's like 90 pounds or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think it's 95. I mean, you better use your legs. I'm just telling you, man. You better use your legs.
If you could find a rack of ribs that was really 90 pounds, that would be absolutely delicious.
Oh my gosh,
that'd be awesome.
And we put out 5,000 yellow, gold, let me say, rally towels. That'll be a lot of fun. It is a gold out. I will have some gold on tonight.
Hold on to this couple of towels. Hold on to a couple of the towels for me, will you?
Okay.
My boy.
And they light up for people that get there. They have this little thing in there that in the corner you pull this pin and you can swing them and they light up.
Please save some for me and the family. We would love to have this. I know Santo has missed every game this year and he is bumming out. Of course, he's got something pretty good to watch over there in Clemson. But yeah, he's just been missing games left and right. He's like, it just sucks because I know what a huge UAB fan is. Well, the good thing is they're winning a lot more on the road than they are at home, so you're not missing too much.
And it's the Bartow Classic, so we always generate and donate some proceeds to the Bartow Fund for Cancer Research over the hospital. So that's also a nice event here tonight.
I absolutely love that. Seahawks Patriots. Been breaking this game down. Patriots, third easiest schedule in NFL since 1978. Their competitors played a 438 winning record, so obviously their schedule is not that difficult. We know about the quarterback play, obviously, with Drake May having just a fantastic season in his second year, only the fifth quarterback to come back and play for a Super Bowl in his second year. And then you have the Sam Darnold, who's no one giving any credit for. The guy's won 28 ball games the last 2 years. He's unbelievable for Seattle, and they're just from top to bottom, just fantastic. And now we go out to Santa Clara. So we're going from all over the place, all the way out to the West Coast. What do you see happening in that ball game? I know how much you love NFL football. The Pats giving up the Seahawks giving up 4.5. The Pats are the home team. But what do you think is going to happen on Monday or Sunday night?
Well, I generally just follow and track and cheer for players. I don't necessarily have teams really that I'm that into. My wife grew up in Cincinnati, so God bless. We have to pay attention and cheer for the Bengals. And
this year's our year, by the way. This year's our year.
And then we lived in Philly before we were here for 3 years, so we follow the Eagles a little bit, but we're not like diehards or anything. But I really like Sam Darnold's story. I really kind of am pulling for Sam Darnold. I'm really excited for how well things have turned out in Seattle for him. He's a very good football player that just hasn't quite fit in the right place. I think he was drafted, wasn't he drafted by the Jets?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, that says enough right there. It's not Sam. Then he goes to the Panthers. I don't know if the Panthers were second or not, but I know he was with the Panthers. and he had no weapons around him. McCaffrey was on the team, but was always hurt.
Yep.
He's done great in San Francisco, and I'm glad for that young man.
I totally forgot McCaffrey played for the Panthers. Well, that's crazy.
Well, he was great for a couple of years, and then he was hurt for like 2 or 3 years, and that was during the Darnold era. So they go into the season. We're gonna count on Christian McCaffrey, and then they don't have him, and
wow, that's amazing to think you had Darnold and McCaffrey. Your team was lousy. That's kind of hard to believe. Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes to Minnesota and did well, but they either drafted somebody or I can't remember, but nonetheless, now he's with the Seahawks. And I'm thrilled for him, to be doing so well. At the same time, like, I can't believe that the Titans got rid of Mike Vrabel, who I like a lot. And I played against Mike Vrabel in college, and to see him do well back at the Patriots where he played and was such a great player for them, that's fun. And Drake May too. He seems like a nice young man. And anyway, these are the kind of things that I cheer for. So I'm excited, but I'm not a betting man, but I think the Seahawks have the advantage.
Yeah, I agree with you. Vrabel can become the first person ever in NFL history to win Super Bowls for 2 different teams and win one as a coach. That's pretty good. That's Hall of Fame right there. That's
who he Patriots and who did he else?
Patriots. Let's see. Patriots. And who did he play for before? I don't know. I'll have to find that out.
I don't know.
I have the crazy stats. I don't have all the answers. My friend.
Okay.
Hold on. Not.
I didn't know that he did that.
No, I'm gonna have to look. Hold on. Because you're just going to drive me crazy, and everyone's going to go, dude, why don't you give that answer there? Let's see who he played for, because we'll know it's the minute we played for him. Career stats, Mike Vrabel, Kansas City.
He was with the Chiefs.
He sure was. Look here. He played with KC 2009, 2010. He was with New England for about 10 years before that, and he was with Pittsburgh 97 through 2000.
Okay.
So yeah.
So who's his other Super Bowl?
I guess it was
Pittsburgh, or was it?
Did Kansas City win in 2009 or 2010?
Brother, you are asking the wrong guy on that. But the Steelers were good too. Remember, you're thinking this is the Roethlisberger era, that late 90s period, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was he there yet?
See, now I'm going to find out.
May not have been there yet.
I'm going to find out right now. 2009, 2010. So it was Pittsburgh. He did it with the Pittsburgh.
Penguins.
I don't know, man. It's still an amazing thing. Oh, and Brad Hartikoff's texting me, by the way. He must be listening to the podcast. By the way, all of our podcasts are live now, by the way. You can watch our podcast live. So you don't have to wait for them to come out, so you can actually watch the show live. We do fly by the seat of our pants. So, it's a podcast. It's great. We don't have to worry about dead air and stuff. We can just do whatever the hell we want. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, my man. Well, enjoy Super Bowl Sunday. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I will say this. My daughter has been banging me up. She wants to go see her aunts and uncles, which is really weird because I haven't seen my aunts and uncles in like 7 or 8 years. And she said to me the other day, she goes, promise me if we go to Cincinnati, we can go to Skyline Chili. I said, honey, that's the reason we would go to Cincinnati.
That's the main
family comes second, Skyline's first, and then, maybe ball game, and then family would come second or third. So I said, that's going to happen. And we're going to bring about 50 of those. I always get 50 of them to go on the way home. It ends up costing me like $175, something like that. But they'll make them and they separate them. So the wieners are separated, the buns are separated, and you can put them in the freezer and you can eat Skyline Chili for like 3 or 4 months. It's killer.
Buy by the cans.
Yeah. You get the cans at Publix. You can do those too. But yeah, so I just buy the cans, but because the wiener and the cheese has got to be,
a certain way. You got to grade the cheese.
Yeah.
You can't just buy shredded cheese, Tony.
Did you know that I made a mac and cheese dish for Christmas this year? And the number one rule was do not buy pre-shredded cheese. Pre-shredded cheese is processed, so it stays healthy and stays good. And it doesn't stick together. And because it's processed, it doesn't get nearly as gooey. And this woman was showing me the 2 recipes, and the one that was processed looks horrible. You're melting it. You'd think it'd be like a soup, but it does not melt the same way. So you had to do 5.5 pounds of grate. So I was grating cheese for all day. But yeah, anyone's had Skyline chili, I don't know how they'd make that cheese. It's you could just eat it out of the bag. It's so stinking good. And you know, I always, my dad would always get a 3-way extra sloppy. He always asked for extra sloppy.
Yeah, juicy.
Extra juicy, exactly. Extra juicy.
My sister-in-law used to work there. My wife's sister
extra
worked
juicy, and of course he always uses, and I have a senior discount.
Yeah, right.
They would give him 15% off.
On that.
Yeah, exactly. I miss my old man. All right, my man. I love you, brother. Have yourself a wonderful. Hey, I'm sorry I'm going to miss you tonight. But go get ourselves a winner tonight. We need a winner tonight. Your favorite. You should get it done, and then we'll see you next week.
All right, man. Thank you.
Brother.
Go Blazers.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.